Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to Yarn and Pajamas. Today is episode number 3 of Stitch Your Library. And Stitch Your Library, or SYL, is a collaboration that Terry from Yarn Joy Podcasts and myself are doing together. And anybody is welcome to join in. The more, the merrier. And essentially, it's just making those patterns that have just been forgotten that you've bought, like books or digital downloads, magazines, those ones that you pull from the shelves at like Joann or Hobby Lobby, any kind of pattern that you have, Pinterest, blog posts that you've bookmarked. It doesn't matter how you got the pattern. It's just the pattern that you already have in your library, because it's so easy for us to get a magazine and we flip through it and we're like, oh, I want to make this, this, and this. Then we put the magazine up and we totally forget about it. Same way with books. That's how I am with books. I'll be in the store and I'll be looking at these books and want to make so many patterns. Then I get it home and I put it on the shelf. Then I forget about it and I move on to something else. So that's what SYL is going to fix. It is going to help us make some of those forgotten about patterns. So the pattern that I picked for my first Stitch Your Library is out of the magazine Love of Crochet. And this is the Winter 2015 edition. And I did find this at a thrift store, a local thrift store that I just, visit. It was just there. And what I'm making is called the Warm Winter Wrap. So this little thing. And I'll put in some pictures of it a little bit better. And I did find the digital magazine from a place called Interweave. It's the Love of Crochet place. And I'll link that down below. I believe it's like $7 or something if anybody's interested in making the pattern. I couldn't find it just by itself, but the pattern designer, her name is Melissa Leapman. So I have been working on it. Let me grab it here. I've got it in this little pouch that I purchased from a yard sale for a whole dollar. And I have been working on it, but not a whole lot. Here is what I have done. Here is where I was, this little orange doohickey. So I think I measured it and it's about even with what I was the last time. So I am making progress. And the hook size that I'm using is a 4.0 millimeter. And this is, I believe it's number 3 weight yarn. So here's what I've got done. And here is the up close of it. It is so soft and squishy. It's very nice. So the yarn that I'm using is from Hobby Lobby. It's this Yarn Bee, must be merino and teal. And it is a light number 3 is what it says. So I have been moving along. I've been watching some TV and crocheting on it. I watched on HBO Max the murder. Let's see, was it The Murders at White House Farms, I believe is what it was called. It was really good. If anybody has HBO Max, I would suggest doing that. So that's my progress. Yeah. I don't know. I've been having problems. It's a 4-row repeat and it's real easy. I've got the pattern memorized now. And really it's mostly, chains. Mostly. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but it's mostly just chains. But there's this one row where it's a double crochet, chain 4, move over, and double crochet. And it is so hard for me to do that first double crochet from that chain 4. It's very hard. It's like I have to really take my time. I have to hold my finger on the yarn as I put my hook through because it gets all twisted and discombobulated. But I am ready to add, I'm on my second skein, and I had a lot of trouble out of the first skein. It like twisted in on itself and got in a big knot. So I did wrap up the second skein that I was using, and I kind of like just split it in half. So I am like 1.5 skeins into this. I'm getting ready to attach this. And my next skein, I'm going to cake it up into a cake and then work from the outside of the cake so it won't collapse in on itself, because this yarn I really like it. It's very nice and soft. It's a little slippery for me, and it does split. And I don't know if it's because it's slippery that it gets knotted up so bad, but that's another thing. I've had to stop and, untangle and stuff. So that's why I didn't have as much trouble when I balled up the second skein and worked from it. I didn't have as much trouble. It did a little bit at the end because I done center pull. Wound them around a Nasta penne. So it is center pull. So it will eventually collapse in on itself, but it doesn't get as tangled up as the other one. So that's all that I have done for this this episode of SYL Stitch Your Library. I was hoping to have more done, but yeah, I just didn't. I don't know why. It's like I was moving at a snail's pace this time around. But if you guys want to stay, up on what I am making here and see my progress, you can keep coming back. I'll be back in 2 weeks, and I'll have another episode of SYL, and we'll see how much further I get in it. And I will see you guys, next week? Yep, I'll see you guys twice next week. I have my podcast is next week, and the next installment of Movie and Stitch. So yeah, so I will see you guys later. Bye.